Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to create the Sonic Pong project. What you see here is the finished result. Obviously you'll have some different pictures, but we're going to start by going File, New. And if we select Print, because there's no option here, you may be in a different version of Illustrator, but all the concepts layouts are the same. So we're working in millimeters. And we're going to create width 220 millimeters. Height's going to be 260. Create. And I'm just going to go into my other tab here and double check that. Yeah, good. 220 for width, height is 260. So we've got our new project, and the easiest thing to do is I've actually got a Sonic Pong Dimensions handout. Of course you can follow along here. We're going to click and hold down on the ellipse tool. And rather than drawing this and holding the shift key and looking at that gray box, we're just going to hit delete and we're going to click and it's going to say, hey, what's the width going to be? So we're going to go 105 millimeters by 105 and click OK. And you may run out of space initially with this, but once we combine everything and condense it down, it will all fit on this page. So you actually need two of these. So I'm going to hold Alt and click and drag. So if you didn't see what I did, you click and select it, hold Alt, and you should see double arrows, and you click and hold down and drag. So I only need two of those for now. And this one's a peculiar size, but it fits the cup perfectly. We're going to go 89 by 89 millimeters. Again, I'll just pull this off to the side for the moment. We're going to go to the rounded rectangle tool by holding down here. And we're going to click, and we're going to make the width of this 120 by 120. Now the corner radius, you can leave it about, we'll just do 4. But again, the nice thing about the new versions of Illustrator is we can customize those corners ourselves. Now that's just going to make a circle, obviously, but I think I'll be pretty happy with that. So that'll be our base. Rounded rectangle tool again. 105 for width, and we're going to do 60 millimeters. Then we need to make a regular rectangle that is 30 millimeters wide by 105 millimeters tall. Once we've got that, again, we can just move that off to the side for now. And we're going to need 4 little rectangles. And these are, again, a very specific size. So 5.6 by 20. And we need 4 of these. So again, there's that little trick. So we can go, Control C, Control V, or you can just hold Alt down and click and drag. And now we've got all the basic pieces, and we need to start assembling these. So the first thing we're going to do is make the hole for the cup. So I'm going to line these two up on top of each other. And the best way to make sure that they're identical is to use the Align tool and click Align Center. Vertical align center. So now we know they're perfect. And then the next thing we're going to do is create our backboard. And we're just going to position, and this is where layers can come into play. So I actually want this to be on top. So if you don't have a layer panel open, we can go here, select layers, go to our drop down, and we can rearrange them. Or you can go right click, Arrange, bring to front, and this just helps me visualize it better because this will be our backboard. Now it's upside down right now. In theory it'll actually look something like that, and we just want to move it up until you see these lines. Zoom in, see they transition perfectly into the backboard pretty much now. Select both. We're going to use a tool called Pathfinder, and we're going to hit Add. And that merges them together. We then need a hole for the wood insert, so I'm going to rotate that. Now if anybody caught how that moved perfectly, when I go to the outside corner I hold the Shift key, and that moves in those 45-degree increments. And we're going to position one of those oh, look, I can't see it. So if this is really bothering you and you don't like going arrange, bring to front, you can also just tell everything here to have a fill of none. And that can sometimes make your life a little bit easier. And again, we want this, so that little pink vertical line means that it's intersecting perfectly. If this is too close to the edge, it'll break. So, you know, I know this is about 5.5, so we're going to go about twice that distance up. And it's not perfect as long as it's centered. That's probably even a little high. Use my arrow keys to nudge it down. Then we need a piece on the bottom here. And again, we want that centered on this item. Now we could use Pathfinder to merge that. Some people also like to use the Shape Builder tool. We just click and drag forward. So this bottom piece needs to insert into the base. So we're going to take this rectangle, and again, we're going to center it on the rectangle here. So that will allow, when we cut this out, to fit into there. And we need the same thing for our rings. So if you're going to pick these up and move them and it's frustrating, don't forget about the ability to right-click group an object. So we can even bring this over now. We need to make this centered. And we're actually just going to stretch this rectangle out. And that's my bad, because that won't fit properly into the right depth when we insert it. So we want to move this till it's just touching, then stretch it out. And then we're going to go here, select everything, Pathfinder, done. So that will now be the piece that inserts there later. And this, again, let's get in that habit of, I need this grouped now, right-click group. Is going to get merged with the backboard here. So we can select both. And go merge. So if that's causing problems, again, this is when it's a good idea to use that Shape Builder tool. So that's fixed. So yours should look something like that. We tuck that down, and then we should be able to fit our net or our hoop in here. And your file is prepared. Now, if you end up with an extra ring like this, obviously just get rid of it, so make sure you don't have two there. And then people are like, well, I want to put something on here. So feel free to use any of the skills you've got from before. So I just did like Gundam head. Oh, not Gundam, headphones. And I went to images. And you know what, I'm going to go look for, you know, the traditional size large. And we're going to refine this to color black and white just for the laser engraver. And I might grab something like this one. And you might find something interesting like this. So right click, open image in new tab. And I go copy. And what you put in there is sort of up to you. It's going to be quite large. And you've learned some skills now about raster versus vector. So right now this is a raster image in a vector program. So we could leave that like that. You have to remember that you can also, my bad, you can also convert this to a vector by image tracing, because then you're going to run into issues like this. So we either need to image trace this and delete the background, or we can go right click, arrange, send to back, and then you can position it, because this inside ring is what's going to get cut out. And some people have enjoyed gluing it to the bottom or having this on the base. Feel free to look at the one on my desk. You also need a backboard. So they can all be different. I'm just showing you for the sake of time using that alt click drag option. So this could be our backboard. And some people say, I don't want that. Well, you know what you can do is you can draw yourself a more traditional backboard with the rectangle tool. And we could go to the stroke option. And we can actually, oops. Sorry guys. And we're going to increase the stroke width, something we can see, and that will just be engraved on our design now. And that could be our backboard. Regardless, when you're done, File, Save As. And if you're in a Creative Cloud computer, so you can actually save to your Creative Cloud, I'm going to save on my computer because I want to be able to move over to the laser engraver. So I'd go find my graphics 24 USB, for example, and Sonic Pong, Mr. VC, save it in my folder, save. That's it. Head over to the laser, and I will give you a hand cutting this out. And that's fine. Just click OK. That's it.